So the CMA Awards have certainly happened. I think there's a lot of opinions out there, good and bad, for the award show last night. We had Lainey hosting. It was the 59th edition of the award show. And I kind of just want to give some thoughts on it. Let's dive right into it. The first thing I want to talk about, the biggest song of the night by far, You Look Like You Love Me. It's been an incredible run for that song. That song came out, I want to say, June of last year. Beginning of last summer. And it took home 3 awards last night. It swept the categories that it was in. It won Music Video of the Year, Single of the Year, and Song of the Year. The song is by 2 of the people that are, pretty easy to root for in country music right now. 2 of the bright spots in country music, I would say. Riley Green and Ella Langley. This song falls in a category, and I have to tell people this a lot. It's like, I hear very often from, people I hang out with or just on the internet, oh, this song's overplayed, this, that, or the other. Unfortunately, that's what's going to happen with most big hits like this in the modern day of country music. We know how big TikTok is and how much of an influence that has with, how many sounds people hear a day when they're scrolling, and same for Instagram. I feel like we're going to hear that a lot with a lot of the hits that are out nowadays, just oh, it's overplayed, it's this, that, or the other. Unfortunately, that's the modern way of marketing. I don't necessarily think it was overplayed. I think this song has had a great closing chapter to it here at the CMA Awards last night, taking home all those awards. If you like real country music, that, you should be very happy to see what that song has done. But I think we can officially close that chapter for both Riley Green and Ella Langley. I do want to make it a point, because this was my biggest gripe with the nominations again. I said it last year for the CMAs. I said it for the ACMs this year at the beginning of the year in May. Riley Green, it seems like he's kind of put in a position where, it's made to seem like he's kind of piggybacking off of Ella Langley. He's on the You Look Like You Love Me song. Musical Event had Don't Mind If I Do in there, which is also a song with Ella Langley. And that's fine. That's great. It's good to see that he's at least getting recognized. But I think the male artist category was definitely lacking Riley Green. Especially this time around. I kind of said it last year, like I said, and earlier this year with the ACMs, but this was the time I thought, okay, it's really been a crazy couple of years for Riley Green with, 2 albums coming out in the last 2 years. This certainly has to be the time, right? And apparently it wasn't. But still looking for him to get those solo noms. He did perform a solo song in Worst Way, and it was one of the best performances of the night. So I think Riley Green deserves his respect a little bit more from these award shows. Next, I'll move into Duo of the Year. That was the one that, Brooks and Dunn took it home again, and I will never complain about that. I'm a huge Brooks and Dunn fan. I'd argue they might even be on my Mount Rushmore of country music singers. But this is something I've been very passionate about, again, since last award show cycle. I think the Duo of the Year category, I wouldn't say it's lacking in country music, because there's some acts that weren't nominated that I think could have been nominated. Muscadine Bloodline, Tiger Lily Gold. Muscadine Bloodline just dropped a new album. Tiger Lily Gold, it sounds like they're about to roll out their next album, and I think they'll be in there on the next award show cycle. But I think those are 2 duos that are great. And unfortunately, I think the category itself has become, I guess you could say, kind of stale. I think Ronnie Dunn and Kix Brooks would completely agree. I mean, every time you see him go up there now, they're kind of just like, wow, you guys really voted for us to win again? Like, what's wrong with the category that we keep winning? And like I said, there's nothing wrong with Brooks and Dunn winning. I'll take them winning for the rest of the, time we have here on Earth, if that's what it takes. But I think that is a category that's certainly wide open. So to any duos out there looking to get into country music, now would be the time. And I think I was reading online, I think the Grammys do I'm not totally sure on this, so don't quote me on it, but I think the Grammys do a combined category where groups and duos are in the same category. I could be wrong on that, but I think that would be good for country music, at least at this current moment. I guess I'll transition that into the Group of the Year, and that was awesome to see the Red Clay Strays get a chance to perform last night, and also see them really dethrone Old Dominion for the Group of the Year category. I would say, just from chronically being on the internet, that a lot of people have the same opinion about Old Dominion. It's like, okay, what's next, especially in that category? And it was nice to see. I didn't think this was going to be the year. I thought the nomination, it was kind of like a nod to what they're doing, but I did not think Red Clay Strays would get it done this year, but they did, and that was awesome to see. I think that's one of the awards you can look back on and really say that was something that set the tone for the whole night. Cody Johnson won the Male Artist of the Year award this year. Yesterday morning, I posted on my personal Instagram, I was like, if I have a hot take to give, I feel like it's going to be a big night for Cody Johnson. I thought it would be his turn in the Entertainer of the Year category, which I'll talk about here in a minute, but he took home male artist. I'm completely cool with that. I think that's a great pick. I think he's had some, great momentum, especially with the release of Traveling Soldier. He just announced recently that his album is in the works and will be released next year, and it will feature both Luke Combs and Brothers Osborne. So it was definitely great to see Kojo take home that award. Lainey Wilson, this is kind of, I'll kind of wrap up the award talk from my perspective with this. If you want to see the full list of the winners, you can go check the Country Wire on Instagram. You can check CMA. Go ahead and check there if you want to see the full list. I'm kind of just going through some bullet points that I wrote down that I want to talk about. Lainey Wilson, she took home 3 awards. This became pretty controversial, I guess you could say. She took home Female Artist of the Year, she took home the Album of the Year, and she took home Entertainer of the Year. So one of the biggest nights an artist has really ever had at the CMA Awards. On top of the fact that she was hosting the show by herself, and I do want to give her props for that. These awards aside, that was awesome. The way she opened that, and she was walking around, really going through a workout, singing all those songs to, the artists who originally cut them and put them out. Gretchen Wilson, Chris Stapleton. She walked over to Ella Langley saying, "You look like you love me." If you did not watch that intro to the show and you're a country music fan, you got to go back and watch it. That was awesome. An incredible job all night long from Lainey Wilson. One thing I'll never do, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, Lainey Wilson didn't deserve it. Oh, Lainey Wilson is this, that, or the other. Lainey Wilson is awesome. She's a privilege to have in this genre. She's an artist that, considering I'm 24 years old, she's someone who I've really been able to watch. I wouldn't maybe say since day one. I wouldn't claim to be a day one Lainey Wilson fan, but really, I saw her open for Jason Aldean back in 2021. It was her and Hardy as the openers, and just to see the climb she's made in really that short amount of time, so 4 years, it's just an incredible run she's on. Some crazy momentum she's built for herself. She's got a great camp, runs a really tight ship with that camp, and I really couldn't be more proud of her as a fan. But again, back to these awards, I thought for Entertainer of the Year, my pick was Cody Johnson. I'm not mad that Lainey Wilson won it. I'm really not. But Cody Johnson, I just felt like it was his turn. I felt like he was the only one in the category to have not won Entertainer of the Year at any of the award shows, the ACMs or the CMAs. Morgan, Lainey, and Luke Combs have all won CMA Entertainer of the Year, and Chris Stapleton has won ACM Entertainer of the Year. So they've all seen those awards. I thought it was Cody Johnson's time. But, I'm glad to see him at least get the nod for Male Artist of the Year. I thought that was really cool. Album of the Year, I mean, they were all great. I really liked Cold Beer and Country Music myself. I thought, top to bottom, what a debut record. That is such an insane way to say, oh, hey guys, my name's Zach Top. I'm here in country music, and this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to continue to do this until it's, it doesn't work anymore. And he followed it up with his new album this year, and it was just as good. And I'm like, dude, I think the fact that that was a debut record, and he kind of, he made music before that, but his first, on a label, this is, debut record. Cold Beer and Country Music was definitely my pick for Album of the Year, but again, Lainey takes that one home. Her Whirlwind record, try to say that 10 times fast, takes home Album of the Year this year. And then Female Artist, I think a lot of people were pulling for Ella Langley, maybe Megan Maroney. It was cool to see Miranda Lambert still be in there after all these years. Again, Lainey Wilson edges those girls out, and again, I can't say necessarily I disagree with it. I love Lainey. I think she's a great role model, great artist in the genre, and really a great beacon for the genre, I guess you could say. Regarding other little bits and pieces from the award show, Zach Top and Luke Combs' performances were awesome. I love Zach Top's choice to perform guitar. Obviously, South of Sanity is being pushed really hard, and Between the Ditches is a really good song, and some other songs throughout the album are really good, but I love the pick of guitar to perform that live. I'm a big fan of that song. I think that's about as country as it gets. Luke Combs, same for him. He opened that with an electric performance, even though he didn't even win any awards throughout the night. It was awesome to see him there performing, as always. Vince Gill. It was awesome to see George Strait come out and do that. I was very pleasantly surprised. I think that's one of the good things to look back on with this show. Seeing him come out there and surprise the fans and present Vince Gill with that much-deserving Willie Nelson Lifetime Achievement Award. Kenny Chesney, it was great to see him just come out and perform some old songs that people love. I love mixing that in there. It's okay to mix some old stuff in there every once in a while at these award shows. He performed American Kids and When the Sun Goes Down, and I really liked the tribute at the end there to Brett James. I thought that was really cool. Steven Wilson Jr., I got to give a shout out to him before I get out of here. Really powerful vocals. That was something that, they kind of slotted him in as a performer, and my initial thought is okay, this is an up-and-coming guy, And this is the perfect opportunity because I think a lot of people are going to be put on to him through that performance. And from so far what I'm seeing on the internet, that is the case. So great performance there from Steven Wilson Jr. I got to give him a shout out. But that's going to wrap it up. Just wanted to give some quick sense on the CMA Awards. I want to start doing some consistent stuff on here for you guys, video content, and make it engaging and interactive in a way, like, asking you guys questions on Instagram. Always love hearing your guys' thoughts. If you want to help me out, go ahead and drop a like and subscribe down below. And if you have any other thoughts that I didn't cover and you want to hear my thoughts on, I'll respond down in the comments. So just drop a comment. I'd love to hear back from you guys. And that's going to do it for me today. So thank you guys for watching. And until next time, I guess we're entering the desert mode of Nashville where everybody goes hunting and goes home for the holidays. So I'm going to try to find content to get out to you guys that is at least semi-interesting. So thank you guys.